Africa loves to adopt modern culture. Often from America or Europe, it's seen as something that modernizes and improves the quality of life for Africans. But what if I told you that there are things attached to modern culture that directly caused 216,000 deaths on the continent of Africa last year? This is a statistic that is exploding and becoming larger and larger every year. And this is only in one sector. There are many scenarios where adopting Western values, adopting Western culture does not lead to positive outcomes. If you're interested in finding out what these dangers are and how Africa has an opportunity to protect itself against them, stay tuned. For those of you that don't know me, my name is TJ. I'm Nigerian and British mixed. I grew up mostly in the UK, but I started a new life by moving to Uganda a couple of years ago to start a relationship, build a business, and I put all of this journey on this YouTube channel. Over time, the channel has evolved because I'm trying to answer the question, why is Africa not reaching its full potential? And what must Africa do in order to get to its full potential? So I was surprised when an article came out yesterday talking about how there is a growing diabetes epidemic happening right now in Africa. 2 generations ago, diabetes was basically unheard of on the continent. Research warns that type 2 diabetes could affect millions more people in the coming decade after a study published this month revealed diabetes is rising far faster among people in sub-Saharan Africa than previously thought. You see, this is a cause of modern food processing techniques, something that Africa has been rapidly adopting for a couple of decades now from the West. This includes high sugar foods, high fructose corn syrup foods, foods with lots of chemicals, E-numbers, and all sorts of toxic things that is proven to be the cause of deadly issues in America, in Europe, and in the rest of the world. So the question is, why are we following in the footsteps of failure? When you look at a country like America, that is in many regards more advanced than Africa, we can look and see the outcomes that are going to happen in Africa if we follow the path that these cultures produce. So right now, diabetes and obesity in America is a huge problem. It's currently now a much bigger percentage problem for the American population than it is for the African population. However, Africa is getting there. The reason why those 216,000 deaths are so devastating is because that type of death is entirely avoidable. And we've seen this problem play out before.
When asked about diseases in Native Americans, most people think of smallpox, measles, and syphilis brought by conquistadors after Columbus arrived at the New World. Few would think, however, of modern Native Americans living today that are challenged with living with a white man's disease. Unfortunately, many tribes are faced with conditions because of European and American interaction and intervention throughout history. Diabetes is among one of the most prevalent of these health problems among Native Americans today. The Pima Indians are a perfect example of a population that are predisposed in each of these 3 categories. The Pima were excellent farmers, utilizing the river through complex irrigation systems. Their native diet consisted of fiber and vitamin-filled foods like wheat, corn, beans, pumpkins, watermelon, squash, peas, and other healthy and natural grains. Beginning in the 1870s, the American government began constructing irrigation routes away from the Pima and towards the farms and homes of the new white settlers. This led to a 40-year massive famine and widespread poverty among the Pima. The federal government eventually stepped in and began handing out canned and artificially manufactured foods on the reservation. This began the downward spiral of the Pima diet away from their healthy, traditional one in the Gila Indian River community. Since the drought took away their means to eat a traditional healthy diet and the government introduced manufactured food, the Pima have followed a traditionally American diet filled with processed sugars, fats, and carbohydrates, leading to high levels of obesity, a leading cause of diabetes among the Pima.
So we've seen the blueprint. We're starting to see the devastating effect. Does Africa want to follow in these footsteps? And the sad truth, it's not just the food industry. There's all sorts of things that Africa is adopting culturally. Nightlife, carefree, YOLO, free relationships, promiscuity, and a move away from outdated ancestral practices around how young people enjoy life. Because they're on social media and they're seeing how the West does it, how the rest of the world does it. Bottle service, alcohol, drug consumption. These are all things on the increase, and they're not all necessarily bad, but there are outcomes that Africa doesn't want that are on the increase regarding these types of things. Single motherhood and broken families are becoming an ever increasing problem on the continent. And my theory is this is a direct result of moving away from more traditional cultural values when it comes to relationships and dating and taking on modern values, Western values, American values. There are all sorts of statistics that let you know that the best environment for children to grow up in is one where there are two parents. Now, something Africa has better than the West right now is its family values, community. It's something that I find really attractive when I'm here on the continent. Do we want to watch African youths modernize yet fall victim into social situations such as single motherhood becoming a huge epidemic across the continent? Yes, America is a wonderful place in many regards, but it has a lot of problems. Here's another one.
Know this, that the US population makes up 5% of the world population.
Yep.
Yet we utilize 55% of prescription drugs. Patients are prescribed medications they don't need. We have one of the lowest life expectancies in the Western world. So if all of this medication was actually improving health, then we should see outcomes.
You would see the outcome. Yeah.
Yeah. So although we spend all of this money on pharmaceutical drugs, we don't see a benefit. And what's interesting is, people may not know this, in the last 3 or 4 years, the life expectancy of Americans has gone down. And you can look at COVID. I mean, we're the most resourceful, most well-trained. We have the best, so-called best doctors. We have the best system. The mortality from COVID was much higher in the US than it was in almost any other country.
So is it not wise to take stock of these things that we import from the West, which I would call something like a stealth colonialism? It's not things that are being imposed by force. No, we're actively chasing these things that produce these bad outcomes on the continent. And just to be clear, I'm not against going after things that work in other cultures. I'm for finding out what works. And what I'm about to show you would be a great example.
Japan has the longest life expectancy in the world, but not just that, they have the healthiest lifespan in the world. So the average British person is in poor health 16 years before they die. In Japan, it's like a few years. Japan is the third richest country in the world, and they have almost no obesity at all. 42.5% of Americans are obese. It is 4% of people in Japan. There's almost no childhood obesity in Japan. I went to a school in Tokyo, typical middle-class school. It's the weirdest thing, walking around a school with 1,000 children and there being not one overweight child anywhere. How did Japan do it? Ozempic has been approved in Japan and there ain't any sales. In the late 19th century, lots of Japanese people moved to Hawaii, and Japanese Hawaiians are almost as overweight as other Hawaiians. Japan deliberately created an environment in which it is hard to get fat and hard to eat badly. Every school, by law, in Japan has to employ a professional nutritionist. It's a difficult qualification to get. It's 3 years on top of your teaching qualification. By law, the kids can't bring packed lunches. They have to eat what's prepared there. That food has to be fresh, prepared on the day, and have no processed ingredients at all. And then they use this healthy food, which has to contain all the food groups every day, to educate the kids about how to make their bodies healthy.
Why don't governments and leaders look at these outcomes and start implementing them on the continent? We're so quick to point out when external factors come in and take our resources and do this and do that and mess around in the continent. And my channel is full of videos talking about all of those problems. But these problems that I'm talking about in this video are the kinds of ways that Africa actually has the power to effect change, to course correct and improve itself on. Africa does not have the same health epidemic issues that America does. But if we continue to copy them, we will get there. The evidence is there now. The outcomes are showing. Just to be clear, if there are positive things in the West that show positive outcomes, we should be adopting them. Things that create jobs, things that create good infrastructure, things that create growth and vibrancy for our youth and our future. There's nothing wrong with taking those things and adopting those things and incentivizing those things. But if we see the outcomes are failing those ahead of us, then I think it is a no-brainer for Africa to wholesale reject those things. Now, I'm sure you guys have lots of opinions about this. Please put them in the comments section. But if you don't have anything to say, would it be too much for you to write in the comments section African values? It lets me know that you watched the video to the end, you're supporting the channel, you like what I do, and you want me to continue. Thanks so much for all the support. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.